past few years, I've developed something I'd like to call the Media Quality Punnett Square. It helps me categorize and rank similar pieces of entertainment in a more nuanced fashion than, say, a numbered list or a scale from 1 to 10.
I've got a little list. I've got a little list.
Square number 1 is reserved for the stuff that is good at being good. The masterpieces, if you will. Think of Ratatouille, The Bell Jar, or BoJack Horseman.
Ever since I was a baby, people always said I looked like BoJack Horseman.
That's a terrible thing to say to a baby!
The installments in Square number 2 are bad at being good. These works admirably strive for greatness, but regrettably fell flat on their faces. This is where you'll find pieces like Disney's Wish, or the original anime adaptation of Full Metal Alchemist.
Miss Douglas is actually... an alien. I think that hypothesis needs some work.
Square number 3 is the philosophical inverse of Square number 2. When something is good at being bad, an ironic sense of enjoyment can be formed. The Sharknado franchise, for example, has established permanent residence in this pantheon.
How can they survive at sea? How can they survive in a tornado?
The last square is reserved for truly irredeemable garbage. These pieces of media are intolerably bad, like the Emoji Movie, the Dirty Dancing remake, and any and all novels written by Colleen Hoover. TikTok has ruined literature. You cannot convince me otherwise. The system is by no means perfect. There is a lot of subjectivity to parse out, and I personally hate the fact that Square number 4 contains a double negative, but on the whole, I'd say it's a fairly effective sorting process, save for one major exception. Rooster Teeth's X-Ray and Vav somehow fits into all 4 categories. If you don't know what X-Ray and Vav is, then I envy you. Can we switch childhoods? Here's a brief history lesson for the uninitiated. Achievement Hunter was a video game-centric subdivision of Rooster Teeth Productions founded by Jeff Ramsey and Jack Patillo back in 2008. Their slate of shows quickly expanded alongside a rapidly growing cast of on-screen personalities. Editor and manager Ryan Haywood started starring in videos roughly 1 year after his hiring. Married couple Michael and Lindsay Jones were regulars on the channel for over a decade. Community member Ray Narvaez became an official Rooster Teeth employee for 3 years. And the critically acclaimed slow-motion cinematographer Gavin Free joined the crew shortly after directing Red vs. Blue Season 7 and its accompanying miniseries Relocated, which contains this fantabulous shot of Griff exploding.
Okay, here we go! Oh shit! Where do I go with the grenade?
Achievement Hunter's legacy is marred with controversy. Their mistreatment of former employee Caden Jensen was particularly deplorable, and Rooster Teeth's notorious crunch culture was unfortunately alive and well in this subdivision. But for many people, myself included, this channel was an important source of joy during some really tumultuous years.
How did Michael kill me and get away with it?
I don't know!
It's a tale as old as the internet. To consume entertainment in this day and age is to grapple ad infinitum with the personal and professional shortcomings of every single creator in existence. Art does not spontaneously come into existence. It needs a flawed person to bring it to life, and Rooster Teeth hired some very flawed people during their 20-year stint.
There's probably some weirdos like that, right?
That we work with?
Maybe.
Sure,
By chance?
I'm sure.
Achievement Hunter was officially dissolved on October 1st of 2023. Fuckface's podcasters took over the rebranded Let's Play channel, while Rooster Teeth tried to reassign their remaining AH cast members to a new channel called Dog Bark. This move flopped spectacularly.
The dog has been put down, but it was put down, but with the blessing of our Barkettes.
I sincerely wish that was the end of our exposition dump, but Rooster Teeth's lore is a lot like that meme explaining Ellen DeGeneres' downfall through the narrative lens of 9/11. The dominoes make perfect sense, but the chain of events is comically absurd.
Actually, no, that's not the truth, Ellen.
For the purposes of this video essay, here is our first domino.
What's up, everybody? It's Ray and Vav from AchievementHunter.com. We just tested the audio, and you're like, "This is Vav."
I don't know what I was gonna say, but my name does not start with a.
You are
V.
Gav. All right, so these are terminals.
Mistake. Do people ever call you X-Ray?
No, under no context does anybody call me X-Ray. Why would they call me X-Ray? Because Ray's my name.
Nickname.
Okay, let's see if that sticks.
Yeah, I think it stuck.
Suck my X-Ray!
This flub became a running gag in subsequent achievement guides, with the pair often opting to stay in character as their superhero alter egos.
So X-Ray as a superhero,
yeah.
What would be your vehicle of choice?
Probably a unicycle.
This joke became so popular that Ray and Gavin wore custom-made costumes to RTX 2013, where a teaser trailer for an RTAA spin-off called Animated Adventurers was released.
Animated Adventurers?
A more polished preview premiered the following year, with an art style that diverged significantly from Jordan Sweets' typical models. The first episode of X-Ray and Vav officially dropped on November 27, 2014, and the rest, they say, is history.
X-Ray and Vav!
What kind of stupid names are those?
This would normally be the part where I describe the overall plot to you in great detail, but it's fairly self-explanatory. Dare I even say it, bare bones. Two best friends who are aspiring superheroes team up to fight criminals and their own idiocy. The idiocy remains undefeated.
I'll stop it! Slow-mo hands activate! Bollocks! Why aren't these...
I've covered an absolute hodgepodge of content on Requiem for a Cancelled Show. Firefly, Inside Job, and Milo Murphy's Law couldn't be more dissimilar from each other, yet I can't recommend these series enough to people. They are worth your time and emotional investment. The same cannot be said for X-Ray and Vav. It's not well animated. The voice acting is subpar and inconsistent, and though it has some funny moments, a significant chunk of its humor is inextricably linked to your familiarity with Achievement Hunter. I consider myself to be fairly knowledgeable about Rooster Teeth and its history, but even I didn't recognize half of the references they jammed into this show.
Oh, you've helped plenty already.
The core pirate? I should have known.
Wait, who?
Apparently, this awesome pun is a reference to Jeff's WWE 13 video, which I didn't watch until recently. Researching this video was a pain in the ass.
He's got a monocle and an eye patch.
X-Ray and Vav ran for 2 seasons and 14 total episodes, not including the holiday special or the Posy Choices 101 short.
I feel like we really got through to these kids. Great work with the fake porn at the end, Vav.
Oh, it was nothing.
The best way to describe this series is an M-rated Saturday morning cartoon. It's like the Super Friends if they all hated each other.
Why are you touching me?
Lindsay Jones is easily the best thing about this series. They're a solid director, and their character Hilda is one of the show's few original creations. She's a brilliant inventor who hates people and wields an incredibly dry sense of humor. She's basically Reagan Ridley, but with purple hair and an even lower social literacy score. I love her.
I was able to modify some prototypes we've been working on to better suit crime fighting. It was very complicated, but I won't bore you with the technical details, which I assure you are very impressive.
Hilda works at a place called Monarch Labs and supplies X-Ray and Vav with all of their tech enhancements. They get to play superhero while she tests out her equipment and collects data without needing board approval. It's a beautiful symbiotic relationship. It's also doomed from the start.
Didn't I tell you two not to destroy the city?
Sometimes that's the price of justice.
No, it's not. It's never the price of anything.
Hilda's orbicular robotic friend, or ORF for short, is voiced by RT darling Barbara Dunkelman.
Greetings. How are you functioning today?
She steals every single scene she's in because the juxtaposition of a floating metal machine sporting a warm, bubbly voice is simply sublime.
He deserves to suffer.
All of ORF's sound effects are just random noises Barbara made whilst in the vocal booth.
Ow! That was an early mandate. Everything ORF does is going to be 50% mechanized sound design and 50% noises that Barbara can make, kind of onomatopoeia with her mouth.
This detail is incredibly minor, but it adds a real level of charm to this show. It's silly, but humanizing, and I adore it.
Destroying is fun!
Another fan favorite character is voiced by Lindsay's husband, Michael. Mogar is the warrior name he chose for himself after killing a pixelated skeleton, and his appearance in the show was highly anticipated by fans at the time.
Everyone was clamoring, like, when's Mogar gonna show up, you know? So everyone was anticipating Mogar in season 2.
As for X-Ray and Vav, their characters are fine, I guess. X-Ray is an immature braggart with daddy issues, and Vav is a justice-oriented individual who cannot flirt to save his life.
Pay attention!
They balance each other out, like a zero-sum math equation. Their grease man is a homeless asshole named Rusty Bonjour. He has a map for every nook and cranny in the city, and a conspiratorial mindset that occasionally comes in clutch.
Isn't Rusty the coolest?
You guys lucked out, too. These are up next in my TP rotation.
Rusty's voice actor Gray Haddock delivers one of the show's most consistent performances, but unfortunately, all accounts point towards him being a terrible boss and an even worse human being. Be that as it may, Gray Haddock wasn't even the worst person to work on this show.
You can assure your boss that if X-Ray and Vav try to interfere, I'll have some new souvenirs for my dead people collection.
The Mad King is the series' main antagonist. He was voiced and inspired by Achievement Hunter's very own Ryan Haywood, with the character's personality and design being based on his persona from the company's long-ass Let's Play of Minecraft. Much like every other Rooster Teeth inside joke, the Mad King made multiple appearances in tons of other shows, most notably in their 2 parodies of Agatha Christie's novel And Then There Were None. But in those stories, Ryan is the one who emerges victorious.
Everyone thinks he's a crazy guy, but he's a genius.
I hear he does stuff when no one's around. Weird stuff. Stuff with holes.
There are only 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and a Minecraft YouTuber being inappropriate with minors. Haywood's gross misconduct got him fired from the company in 2020, but his presence left an indelible stain on both Achievement Hunter and X-Ray and Vav. Grooming a child is one of the worst possible crimes you could commit, so it's hard to find anything to enjoy about the Mad King when he's just Ryan distilled.
Silence!
X-Ray and Vav is a show that wants to be about justice, yet this is a solemn reminder that the real world is utterly devoid of it. And this should go without saying, but I have to point it out. His voice acting is awful.
I think this proves my point.
Ray and Gavin, they both aren't very familiar with voice acting. I know Michael's done some, and Ryan's a theater actor.
Yeah, I can tell. For all of my doom and gloom, I was in fact an avid fan of X-Ray and Vav when it first aired. The show has undeniably good elements. The episode where everyone's trapped in a bad fanfiction is solid gold.
He looked deeply into Vav's eyes, seeing all the way into his delicate British soul.
Oh no! She's writing slash fiction!
Ash Shemaya is another bright spot for me. She's a plucky reporter who's introduced in Season 2 to serve as a mouthpiece for the average citizen, which really works since the world building in this show is otherwise non-existent.
Oh dear, this doesn't look right at all. Oh, that's much better.
I don't support their attempts to villainize her actions, though. #Ash did nothing wrong.
Ooh, a comment. Maybe this wasn't the best career move.
If the show had continued, I would have loved to have seen Dragonface get more development. He's X-Ray and Vav's stalker a la Syndrome from The Incredibles, but there's something deeply endearing about Dragonface. Kerry Shawcross's idea for him to shadow Mogar would have been really funny to watch.
I feel like Mogar is the hero that Dragonface needs to truly become a superhero.
I'd say you can't be mad at that face, but I've watched Ruby. I can indeed be mad at that face. The show was never officially cancelled, but Ray's departure from the company in 2015 undeniably threw a wrench into its production. He was quote-unquote very happy with how it ended, and told fans that he wasn't interested in voicing X-Ray again should the show return for a 3rd season. The now-defunct Rooster Teeth website allegedly described the series as retired, but I couldn't find any screenshots to corroborate this designation. The entirety of X-Ray and Vav amounts to 2 hours worth of entertainment. Some of it is great, some of it is atrocious.
The name's Cole. Flint Cole.
That'd be a cool name, Flint Cole.
Would it
though? Like private, yeah, you'd be like an international private investigator,
You'd have to
mystery
be black,
type,
though, right?
On the whole, I can't really recommend it to you in good conscience. Rooster Teeth will always fascinate me, hence why I chose to revisit this series, but unless you share this unique form of brain rot, you're not going to enjoy X-Ray and Vav.
Mogar insists you stop hitting yourselves.
So why did I bother with making this episode of Requiem for a canceled show if I'm actively discouraging you from watching it? Well, the main goal of this video series isn't to grow a show's audience or fan base. It's to highlight forgotten pieces of media, regardless of their quality. Warner Brothers shut Rooster Teeth down in May of 2024, and it's only a matter of time before all their content falls off the face of the internet. Which, frankly, sucks. Art shouldn't be reduced to a tax write-off, and bad media is still worth remembering.
I'm back from getting milk. What the hell happened?
X-Ray and Vav may have broken my Punnett square, but it deserves to be preserved. I don't want the efforts of inspired individuals to fade into obscurity, especially since these crew members were pioneers in their own right, paving the way for future Rooster Teeth creations.
Maybe this will be a launching point for, more IP to come out. Maybe we'll have some more scripts, maybe some one-off stuff, maybe some adventures of Mogar, Possibilities are endless at this point.
Oh. Oh no.
These moral quandaries are beyond our pay grade. I concur.
This video is brought to you by my patrons. If you'd like to support me and the channel, please consider pledging. I would deeply appreciate it.
Stop bugging us, Mom! This is why Dad left!
Until next time, take care.